And obviously, we get the word atom out of that. This is the perfect picture of a moment. An atom is the smallest unit in any element. They are as numerous as can be. There's millions of them in this room, billions of them in this room. They are very insignificant looking because there's so many of them. And that's why it's so easy to overlook a moment. And at the same time, we have this image of the atomic hidden in every moment. There's a disproportionate power to the relationship of its size. In a moment, we can become a human catalyst, creating this divine impact with earth-shaking results. Even the description of a moment moves from very tiny to very big, to epic. Listen to some of the words we use to describe a moment. Instant, flash, blink, twinkling of an eye, split second. Watch this now. Minute, hour, day, chapter, phase, season, age, generation, era. All words to describe moments. Erwin McManus wrote this book called Chasing Daylight. It's where I'm getting the idea of this series from. He says the mystery of a moment is that it's small enough to ignore and big enough to change your life. That can be so true. That's what we see in the life of Jonathan. That's exactly what we see. The Jonathan factor is the explosive result that occurs when we step into a divine moment and unleash that full potential. How we view God dramatically affects how we live life in God. So we need to enjoy the moment, don't we? Enjoy the moment. Now this has multiple implications in our context today. First, we've got to keep in mind that the most important moments rarely come at convenient times. Those moments that are just earth-shattering, they really don't come at convenient times. We wish God would check with our calendar first. The scriptures are full of stories with people who are so rudely interrupted by God. And we read these stories and we long to live those stories. But really, when God interrupts us, are we willing in the moment to respond? Second, we must not get stuck in a moment. Very important. Can't get stuck in the past. If we get stuck in a moment, we become incapable of seizing divine moments. McManus says, time was not created with the power to hold you back. You have to think about that, don't you? I didn't used to believe that till I just heard it. Time wasn't created to hold you back. And he says, if the future terrifies you, then just take life a moment at a time. So he's covering both gamuts there, both ends of the spectrum. Okay, third, we should see beyond the moment. Moments aren't independent. They're not disconnected. They carry the momentum of the past and they fuel the momentum of the future. Life is the sum total. It's the sum total of what we do with moments we are given. Think of that. It's all put together, all these moments, and that's the total of life. Lastly is the choice moment. McManus says, while moments are the context within which we live, choices chart the course and determine the destination. Sometimes we forget that God has created us with the power to choose. You ever thought about that? He's created us with the power to choose. Animals don't choose, they just react. And He's given us this gift of a free will. Free will. We get to choose what we want to choose. Probably the most spiritual activity you will do today is to make choices. The most spiritual activity you'll do, make choices. When God made humankind, He placed them in a garden of choices. This is what it says in Genesis. You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. In other words, God stacks the deck for Adam and Eve. Each choice, every choice except one, was the right choice. He didn't say, now, during the morning time, won't you eat this? During the night time, eat whatever you want. Choose whatever you want except this one. There was only one wrong choice available. And as we know, that choice was picked. Everything changed. Everything changed because of that choice. And like Adam and Eve, we chart our course with the choices we make. That's just how it works. So there's moments for you. It's what we're going to be going through. Just any aspect of living life, basically. Moments. Now I want to kind of move into maybe what we can do to initiate something. We sang a song, Lord, I'm hungry, I'm waiting on you. We know that's true. Those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. But there are times, we just said this in the last series, there are times when God is waiting on us. He said, here it is. I put before you life and death. Choose life. He's waiting for us to initiate something too. So let's move into that part of the message. Very important thing to know here. We just cannot live with God. We can't follow Him. We can't do His will in neutral. Now, He's a very merciful God, and He'll kind of keep us in tow. But you know what that's like. Any of you guys boaters, you know what the feeling is like when you run out of gas, way out, and somebody's towing you back in. You're sitting in your boat, you're just totally humiliated, you know. You're sitting there thinking, this idiot, I got to tow him in. I still wanted to go fishing a little longer, and I'm towing him in because he was too stupid to fill up his gas tank. It's a bad feeling to feel like you're being towed along. All right? But God's merciful. He does that for us, and He doesn't complain about it. But He does want us to live life in gear. I think that just about every single pastor in every single pulpit today, in some shape or form, is trying to get their congregations, their people, in gear. Some way. Because we all know it, that living in neutral just isn't where it's at. Have you ever had some of those moments available to you, some opportunities, and you let them slip by? You just feel, darn. You didn't choose anything evil. You didn't do anything that terrible. You just didn't do anything. That's neutral. Most people I talk to, they seem to think, I probably do this too, we had this idea that the focus of Christianity is to figure out how to eliminate sin from our lives. That's the try-hard thing. How do we eliminate sin? How do we become holy? We define holy as a thing that we try to separate ourselves from something rather than what we give ourselves to. You see how we get it mixed up? But if you think about it, the choices between good and evil, if you're a Christ follower, you've got that stuff down pretty much. Really, I mean, how many books do you see written? Should we steal or not steal? Murder or not murder? I mean, there's not too many books out there that say, now this is good and this is bad. We know. The problem is, or the hard part is, not doing anything. Choosing something good.